Saludos a toda la afición de la lucha libre. Este que les habla es Michael Morales Torres, integrante del equipo de lucha libre online. Y tenemos el enorme privilegio de presentarles a nuestro invitado en la tarde de hoy de Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, para el mundo. WWE Hall of Famer, TNA Hall of Famer, WWE Grand Slam Champion, TNA Triple Crown Champion, Olympic gold medalist. The man that won an Olympic with a broken freaking neck. It's true. It's true. It's damn true. Kurt freaking Angle is in the house, Mr. Angle. It is a huge honor for us having you here. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. And we wanted to start the interview with what's in, what's hot, what's trending everywhere. And it's physicallyfit.com, and it's incredible snacks available on physicallyfit.com. As I mentioned before, they have brown sugar with pretzels, honey mustard with pretzel pieces, sour cream onion with bagel pieces and rice sticks, spicy buffalo and blue cheese, buffalo wings, pizza, jalapeno ranch with peanuts and almonds, cinnamon swirl and pretzels, compound dry roasted peas and pretzels, sriracha with peanuts and almonds, sweet barbecue and honey roasted peanuts. All the collection is over here right now. We have the sweet barbecue one, even though this is gonna be edited by Jacobo eventually. We have the compound, we have a lot of it. This is incredible. If everyone wants to eat good snacks, maintain in a healthy way and force themselves in a diet without suffering, this is your alternative. Physicallyfit.com brings you an incredible variety of snacks, even from the sweeter sides, from the hot sides, like the sriracha over here, the jalapeno one. There are a lot of them, even sweet ones like the cinnamon swirl, pizza ones. I saw your daughter in a video eating them also. What's Physically Fit, and how did Kurt Angle manage to create his own brand?
I started a company about 12 years ago and wanted to do something special. We started with a fiber product and called Fiber DX, and parlayed that into the chicken snacks and smart snacks, plant protein snacks. We put a lot of time and effort into this, and we engineered it from real chicken breast, and the product is incredible. The flavors are unreal, really healthy, high protein, low carb, low fat, and it's been doing really well.
Everyone is talking about this. Everyone in Latin America is paying attention to our stories, to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, where we've been posting a few of this. I took a few pictures in the beach, in a few cultural places here in Puerto Rico, a few backgrounds, and everyone is asking via inbox or DM what's Physically Fit. Well, it is Kurt Angle's healthy snacks brand, as I mentioned, engineered with real chicken breast and the best quality products. Kurt, this is something you have in your website, physicallyfit.com. Everyone can have it there, but you've been also managing to get it in a few stores, or you're going to eventually hit it in a few stores.
Oh yeah, we're gonna head into Walmart, Costco, different health food stores, grocery stores. So we're just getting started, but it's doing really well. We're getting a lot more customers.
So I'm going to say this in Spanish para todos nuestros amigos en Latinoamérica. Physicallyfit.com es la alternativa. Kurt dice que eventualmente van a llegar a Walmart, van a llegar a Costco. Tienen diferentes variedades de sabores. Hay un montón aquí arriba, como pueden observar. Está el Buffalo Wing, ahí tienes el Cinnamon Swirl, el Honey Mustard, tienes el Spicy Buffalo Wing. Hay un montón de alternativas. Si quieres mantenerte a dieta, yo me esforcé de hecho a hacerlo eventualmente con esto. Sin sufrir mucho, physicallyfit.com te brinda la alternativa de comer saludable, de consumir estos productos de dieta, algunos productos también altos en proteínas si quieres crecer en masa muscular, sin sufrir mucho. Así que vayan a physicallyfit.com por estos snacks, because this is Kurt Angle's brand, and if he uses and you want to look like an Olympic gold medalist, this is definitely the alternative. Kurt, let's start after speaking about the Physically Fit nutrition. I wanted to talk to you about the incredible thing you did in 1996. I mean, you won an Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck, but the background in your life was even more complicated at this point. As far as we read, your father passed away when you were 16. Your trainer died tragically too, in the exact same year you were going to the Olympics. How did a young man during this tough situations manage to put himself over with a broken freaking neck, won the Olympic gold medal, and not choose the wrong pathway. I mean, you had the worst combination ever to be in the other side of the of life, basically right now. But you managed, you with all the discipline in the world, won the Olympic gold medal, and now you are the person you are today. How do you did it?
Well, a lot of hard work and a lot of believing, a lot of faith. My dad passing away, I dedicated my athletic career to him. And when I lost my coach, Dave Schultz, 6 months before the Olympics, he taught me enough about what I needed to do and the direction I needed to head and how I could accomplish everything by then. So I took what he taught me and I continued on and dedicated the Olympics to Dave Schultz. He was incredible person, great coach, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He did, he taught me everything about wrestling, positioning, technique, how to carry myself. It was pretty cool. Dave was a leader, and he really led everybody in that club, the Foxcatcher Club. That's where it occurred. His death, he was killed tragically by John DuPont, and it was a sad day. And I quit the club immediately, and Nancy Schultz, Dave's wife, called me and told me that she was starting the Dave Schultz Wrestling Club, and if I could be the first member, and I said yes right away. So I left the Foxcatcher Club, went to Nancy Schultz's club, Dave Schultz Wrestling Club, and I honored their name in the Olympics.
Well, an incredible story. And speaking of incredible stories, your first taste basically of pro wrestling was in 1996 with ECW, which was
Yeah.
pretty weird to read because no one actually had a footage of that. So on the same event you were invited, someone decided to crucify Sandman. Raven did it, but you choose to step out of the building at that moment and requested not to be presented on that program. How was the experience, first of all, of working with that version of the violent ECW? And if it's true that you threatened Mr. Paul Heyman at the moment, if they show your image at the event, you will sue them because you didn't want it to be allied to that those kind of stunts specifically.
Well, you understand when I got approached, I was told by Shane Douglas that this new company, ECW, was more geared toward amateur wrestling. And couldn't have been any further from the truth. These guys are using weapons, chairs, kendo sticks, ladders. It was, it wasn't much of wrestling. So I didn't understand the business back then. And, being a Christian and, having my faith in God, I got offended. And would I be offended today? No, because, things, people do crazy stuff. And I just, at the time, I just thought it was not the right thing for me to be involved in, winning a gold medal and representing the United States. And I had a pretty good reputation back then. And I didn't want to be affiliated with it. So I told Paul Heyman, if I'm shown on this program, you're going to hear from my attorney. And he told me he didn't know about the crucifix, which obviously, it's hard to hide a crucifix under a ring without knowing it's there. So I get it. It was a shock factor. The fans, a lot of fans were upset too. Some fans weren't, but it was just different. ECW, they made a splash, and they really had a great run. And I don't want to put them down for what they've been able to accomplish. So I get it now, and I just didn't. Back then I didn't understand that wrestling was, entertainment, and I thought it was more personal. So, you know, I did what I had to do at the time.
Which was the reason you declined your first contractual offer from WWE back in 1998, I'm afraid to say.
96. They offered me
10-year deal, correct?
Yeah, they were giving me a multi-million 10-year deal, and I declined it. Actually, my agent declined it. He said, "You're not going to do this fake stuff. You're the real deal." And so I never watched pro wrestling. I never studied it until 1998. I turned the TV on and I fell in love with the product. Watching Raw and Stone Cold and The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker. It was really cool to see these guys. They're incredible athletes, and they do a lot of incredible stunts. And I wanted to be part of it, so I called the WWE and Jim Ross at the time. I said, "Hey, is that offer still stand?" He said, "No, you're going to have to try out." So I lost the offer, and I tried out in late '98, and I had a great tryout. My first day, within an hour, they offered me a contract. I was picking everything up very quickly. Not that I understood psychology or anything, but I was getting the technique down properly. And so they offered me a deal. It wasn't a very good deal. It was $75,000 a year. And I took it, and I just told Jim Ross, "I'm going to turn this into $1 million my first year that I wrestle." And he looked at me like I was crazy, but I had the confidence in myself that I would do really well.
And you did. You turned it into $1 million product because you made yourself a brand. You signed with WWE in 1998, 5-year deal. Your first pro wrestling match was against Tom Pritchard in WWE's official development territory. Your first WWF match was a dark match against Brian Christopher, who unfortunately passed away. But your first televised match was against Sean Stasiak in 1999 Survivor Series. However, Mr. Angle, you won your most important match back in 2000 in No Mercy, none other against The Rock, the WWF champion at that point, and you became the champion and the face of WWE at that point. How did it feel for you once you hold that gold belt over your chest and eventually start tearing up because of the emotion? What was the first thing that went through your mind?
Well, I knew I made it. You know, I made it to the top. It was, you know, I was actually shocked. I didn't plan on growing that quickly, getting that popular that fast. Even though I was a heel and I was pretty much hated, and you know, all the stuff I was doing, the corny, goofy stuff, and you know, the heel stuff, and being ignorant and, you know, dumb. It was a lot of fun. It was really challenging. I couldn't wait to come to work every week so I could make an ass out of myself. It was really cool to do. That was my favorite time in wrestling. My first year was my favorite year, and you know, beating The Rock, the most popular, you know, superstar of all time, was huge feat. So I was really really happy with my progress at the time, and you know, the only thing I could do to match that was to win a title from Stone Cold, and I did that my second year. So that was a big win for me too. Those are my two biggest wins.
Mr. Angle, you were friends at that point with both Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. You wrestled with them. You shared backstage with them. What stories can you share from either of them while you were with WWE?
Oh, well, Chris, you know, Chris was pretty quiet. You know, he was a great friend, really loyal, and just very honest and upfront. Chris was an incredible wrestler. He had it all. Probably without a doubt, the most talented technician I've ever faced. Eddie just, he had it all in more. Eddie was, you know, he had the charisma and the personality the athleticism, the psychology. You know, Eddie was one of the greatest of all time, without a doubt. They both are, and I've always held them both in high esteem. Don't have much a story about Chris, but Eddie, one night, Eddie and I got into a little bit of a fight. It was me and Jindrak and Luther Reigns. We were in the ring, and we had to get heat on Eddie at the end of the night, and we were beating him up. And after the match was over, I waited backstage for Eddie at the Gorilla, and he came back and he just went crazy and said, "What the hell are you guys stiffing me for? You're hitting me for real." And I said, "Eddie, I didn't touch you." And he said, "Yes, you did." I said, "No, these guys did." And Eddie was so mad he wasn't listening. He pushed me. I pushed him back, and then he went to double leg me, amateur wrestling move. And I sprawled and got him in a front face lock and started choking him out. And Big Show was there, and he broke it up. It was Big Show he actually picked me up by my shorts, and he picked Eddie up by his shirt, and he carried me to one side of the room and carried Eddie the other side, like like a big giant, and I got little guy syndrome. I'm like, "Hey, you don't move me like that. Don't pick me up like I'm nothing." And it was pretty funny. And Bradshaw went to Eddie afterward and said, "Eddie, why would you double leg Kurt Angle?" He goes, "Because I'm a dumbass." So we had a little fight. We used to get we had a very passionate relationship, Eddie and I. We loved each other like brothers, and we fought like brothers. And if we had a discrepancy, we would bring it up. And Eddie was at the time, you could see him suffering. His body was in a lot of pain. He was always drooped over and cold, and always had a winter jacket on with a hat on. But when the show started, Eddie was Eddie, and he'd come out through Gorilla, and he wasn't the same. And he would put on that happy face for the next half hour, and then go back and do the stoop. And little did we know, Eddie was having problems with his heart. And, at the end of the day, unfortunately, he lost his life due to a heart attack. And, it's really sad because we didn't know. The doctors didn't know. There was no sign of it. It just, Eddie was getting, he was suffering, and it was really sad day when he passed away.
And it still is sad. Mr. Angle, you wrestled in Mexico for AAA at one point, and I couldn't believe that fact. I had to Google up the video, and I found it. So it was yourself and Jeff Jarrett against none other than LA Park and Electroshock for AAA 20, Triple Mania 20 or Triple Mania 20. What was your experience working in the, let me say, independent circuit of Mexico instead of going with WWE or TNA?
It was different. The styles are different. It's more of a lucha libre style, and we had good chemistry though. It was a good match. Those guys are incredible, and they're really safe too. And you want to make sure that safety is the first priority, and they were. And we had a great match. We had a wonderful time. I enjoyed being down there.
Awesome. I'm going to say something in Spanish for our audience, even though this is going to have closed captions. Kurt Angle tiene su mercancía disponible en kurtanglebrand.com, kurtanglebrand.com. Ahí tiene fotografía, sombreros, cartones de leche, tarjetas, todo autografiado. Toda la mercancía es kurtanglebrand.com. Al igual que las camisetas las tiene disponibles en prowrestlingtees.com/kurtangle. Todo tipo de camiseta disponible ahí, desde los tiempos de antes a lo que es Kurt Angle el día de hoy. También tiene videos disponibles para todos. Si quieren un video de cumpleaños, un video de boda, un video de consejo para alguien, lo pueden conseguir en cameo.com/kurtangle o celebvm.com/kurtangle. De igual manera puedes conseguirlo ahí. Y lo más importante, physicallyfit.com, que tiene los productos a la parte de aquí arriba. Mr. Angle, last but not least, what do you think the pro wrestling industry needs in this point of its life, let's say it that way, to evolve and attract a bigger fan base as it was when you started wrestling in 1999, 2000s?
I think we should give the wrestlers more their own direction. I think things are so scripted now and planned well ahead of time, both verbally and wrestling wise. The art of pro wrestling is to improvise and to feel the crowd and make the matches make sense and have psychology. Right now it's more of a high action, movie,
Yeah.
and it's not so bad. I understand why WWE, went from R rated to PG rated. The money's in the kids, and the ratings, they might have suffered a little bit, but the money is in the kids, and the money's also in the programming, getting networks to pick up the shows. So it's hard to say, what wrestling needs. It just I would like to see the guys have more control over what they do. That would help.
So let pro wrestlers be pro wrestlers in free creative mind. It'll be a good idea. To all our fans, basically fit.com will be the answer for yourself. Mr. Angle, thank you so much for the opportunity and for your time. We wish you the best of luck in this new project, and we expect to see you in another company, either inside the ring, backstage as an agent, as a producer. You are a wise man for this industry, and they definitely need you. So we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, sir.